Hey, thanks and welcome back. I have a quick one today. I'm in the process of designing this indicator stand, combination Hermann Schmidt, Renzetti, and Gottsventer. And I needed a bunch of knobs, so I ended up building this parametric model in Fusion 360 that allows me to control the parameters that I needed anyway for making a variety of knobs. And so we have the knob diameter, and then optional bosses at the bottom, each of which have their own height and diameter, have parameters for a recess in the top of the knob as well as a hole. And so here we can just play around with the actual diameter of the hole just by changing parameters in Fusion. So we've changed it to 2 inches. We can change the height. And then the recess is also controlled, and you can control both the diameter of the recess as well as the depth of the recess. So with this you can do flat knobs, or you can do knobs that have a cut recess. I kind of like that look. The hole has a diameter, and then there is an offset as well to allow it to either be a through hole or stop short of the actual bottom of the recess. And that's all calculated using formulas. Additionally, you can control one or more bosses. There's actually support for 2 in this model. And you can control both the diameter as well as the height of each of the bosses. And coming up here, we actually encounter a little bit of an error that I haven't really figured out. Remember, all you're doing is changing parameters here. I'll actually show you what we're using to actually generate the knob form from these parameters. But there is no programming logic behind this. This is just formulaic parametric modeling. And so here, for instance, the secondary boss somehow became detached in space. So in any case, playing around with the parameters allows you to kind of get the form that you want. And I'll show you what the sketch looks like that I'm using to generate this. There are a couple issues that I'd love to figure out. Learning more about parametric modeling in Fusion, but here you can see the rough outline of the shape, and then we just take that shape and revolve it around the center axis, and that's how we end up with the overall form. So each of these dimensions is driven off the parameters, and as you can see here, what we're doing for the recess is using a formula of either the max of the requested depth of the recess or 1,000th. And in Fusion, you can't have a sketch dimension with a 0 value. Doesn't make sense. And so we're saying it's either, if you want a flat knob, it's actually going to show up as a 1,000th recess, which is fine for me because I'm manually milling these, or manually cutting them on the lathe. But if anyone knows a different technique, I think here I demonstrated that you can actually take that down to 10,000ths of an inch, which is imperceptible. I ran into some issues earlier. If anyone has a better idea of how to compose these pieces, here we're showing you can actually take that parametric model, insert it into the current design, and then break link to disassociate it from the model, otherwise it'll remain linked. And then those parameters actually come in and are adjustable within the model. You'll also notice that if you had a second instance of the knob, that the parameter names change. And here we're able to actually adjust those dimensions in the model. So anyway, I found this super helpful, and I will continue to improve it. I'll put a link in the description below with a link to the Fusion 360 file. And if you have any comments or suggestions on how to improve this, please let me know. Thank you.